Greetings and welcome to Hexed Encountered. I'm Joe. In this video, I'm going to be doing a look at the first of the Little Black Books from Classic Traveler, going back to the one I'm looking at is actually, I believe, from 1980, but very early in the history of the game, which has grown to be pretty monstrous in terms of content and spin-offs and everything else. So we're going to go right back to the very beginning. And if everything goes to plan, I'll do 3 videos, one on each of the 3 original Little Black Books. Before we really get into it, I just want to mention that visually this video is not going to be extremely exciting. I don't have the physical copies of the books to show you, but they are available. You can actually get a free facsimile version on Drive-Thru RPG, but you can also buy the entire collection from Far Future Enterprises, and you can buy most of the elements as well from Mongoose if you wish to. So there's no finding them in a PDF format, let's say, is not difficult at all. Finding them in their physical format, particularly the original set from 1977, can be a bit more challenging because it's not like there were, tens of thousands of copies printed. Let's get into this. Just kind of treat it more like almost like a podcast that's mainly audio here. At least for this, these 3 videos likely will all follow that same format. So the LBBs, they kind of read less like a fantasy adventure game and more like almost a miniatures or wargaming supplement that creates or generates characters. Book 1's character generation is essentially, in some ways, a mini war game of its own. It's probabilistic career paths, tables for everything, and of course the famously brutal possibility of dying during character creation. That's really immediately legible to someone who has spent hours with Hex Encounter war games. So for my wargamer viewers, that's probably less shocking than it may be to more RPG oriented viewers who will say, "What the hell is up with that?" But anyway, Traveler literally kind of grew out of that war game culture because Mark Miller, the designer, and GDW, their primary output was war games. Obviously, they did many other things, including a bunch of role-playing games that have almost all lived to become legendary. But Traveler was actually the first. So I won't get into what Book 2, which covers kind of starships and so on, and Book 3, Worlds and Adventure. We'll talk about those in their own videos, but let's get down to how Book 1 works. Okay, so the key, obviously, for Book 1 is characters and combat. So I'm going to go through the various elements and just kind of show you little snippets from the text and talk about what that means in kind of more plain English, because the rule books are somewhat dense, right? When you look at the Little Black Books in comparison to, say, the output of Mongoose, which is publishing Traveler today, the differences mechanically aren't that much different, although the current edition is much more fleshed out than the original was. But in terms of the actual look and feel of the books, the original books were dense text, so your typography, prose style, the table structure, and all that stuff was very plain, technical, and direct. And now you get images and fancy formats and different colors and for the tables and sidebars and all kinds of things that just did not exist in the Little Black Books. So let's go through the Little Black Book content and talk about what it all means. Let's start with the UPP, right, which is the 6 character statistics or attributes, if you will. Okay, so to do this, you roll 2d6 6 times in order. You don't pick, you don't rearrange. You'll get a result from 2 to 12, and that will become one of your 6 stats in this order: strength, dexterity, endurance, intelligence, education, and social standing. You then write them as a single 6-digit code. For example, it could be 786A 8B, right? Where each value uses each value above 9, that is, uses a hexadecimal or letter, in this case value, where A is 10, B is 11, and C is 12. It can go higher than that, up to 15, but that is your base that you'll get from your 2d6 rolls. That code is your whole character at a glance. So if you write down your code 786A8B, then anyone who knows Traveller will know what your stats are at a glance, right? So it's a very neat and kind of inspired shorthand. So Classic Traveller has no array or point buy. The dice decide who you are before the adventure even begins. Now let's talk about career terms, or your life path, almost, if you will, because that's what they call it these days. But it's your pre-game life simulator or generator. Before the campaign starts, your character lives an entire career. You pick a branch: Navy, Marines, Army, Scouts, Merchants, or other. Right? That's been expanded greatly in the current version, but this is the original. And you roll to get in. So you serve 4-year terms, and you roll each term to survive. Yes, survive. Get promoted, and earn skills. You can serve multiple terms, aging all the while. When you finally muster out, you take your skills, perhaps some cash and or gear, and arrive at the table as a seasoned veteran. The character generation process is a mini game all its own. Some sessions are spent entirely doing this, and it is genuinely exciting. Well, as you might guess, when you do 4-year terms and you do multiple 4-year terms, your character is aging the whole time. So as we mentioned, every term is 4 years. So after 4 terms, you'd have served 16 years. And since you start at age 18, that would make you 34. Right? And after that third age of 34, each additional term will make you force a roll. It will force you to take a roll to avoid stat loss from aging. So strength, dexterity, and endurance will degrade first, and intelligence comes later. So it's more your physical statistics than your intelligence type. The more skilled and experienced your character becomes, the older and potentially physically frailer they can get. This is the core design tension of Classic Traveller character generation. The game is explicitly about what you will give up to become capable. A 3-term character is young but green. A 7-term character is a seasoned expert that might be held together with slow drug. And we'll talk about that at some point down the road as well. Now let's talk about skills. There are no skills checks in the modern sense in this game. Skills are simply bonuses that you add to a 2d6 roll when the referee calls for one. Pilot 2 means you add +2 whenever piloting matters, when you're using your piloting skill. The referee will set a target number, which is usually a 6 or higher, 8 or higher, or 10 or higher, and so on. And you roll your 2d6 plus your skill level plus any relevant stat modifier. Skills are earned from tables during your career terms. You don't choose your character build, you accumulate what your service gave you. Untrained penalties are real. Attempting a task with no skill will often impose a die roll modifier that is a negative. Now, your core mechanic will be throws and dice modifiers, right? So the entire game is going to run on that one mechanic. Roll your 2d6, apply modifiers, meet or beat a target number. The notation in the book writes targets as 8+ or 10+, meaning roll this or higher. Modifiers, called DMs for short, are listed with a sign, for example, +2 or -3. And those just get added to the roll. That's it. Real simple. Every action in the game, from attacking to bribing a customs official to landing a damaged ship, resolves this way. The density of the book comes from the tables of dice modifiers, not from the resolution system itself, because that is elegantly simple. Now we'll talk about wounds and damage, the 3 characteristic system. There are no hit points in this game. Damage instead drains your actual stats. Endurance first, then strength, then dexterity. If you hit 0 in one stat, you become unconscious. 0 and 2, you're critically wounded, and you need real and immediate medical care. 0 in all 3, and you are dead. This makes wounds matter narratively as well as mechanically. A wounded character is literally weaker, slower, and less dexterous. Recovery without a medic takes days of rest. Recovery from 2 stats at 0 requires a proper medical facility and a skilled doctor. And gear, right? What's an RPG without gear? So weapon entries give you 4 things that you actually need. Weight, which will affect your carrying capacity. The cost of it in credits, which is marked as CR in the game. And tech level. And tech level is meaning which planets can supply it. Various planets will have various tech levels. And if you have played any version of Traveler, you will know what that means, what a tech level is. Essentially, it's just how technically advanced the civilization that lives on this particular planet is. And the higher, the better. And lastly, of course, the implied damage and range bands from the combat tables that this weapon will cause. For play, you just cross-reference the weapon name against the weapon's matrix, which is a grid of weapon versus armor type, and the range metrics, which is a grid of weapon versus distance to find your dice modifiers. And the tables do all the heavy lifting. Now, there is a lot more in the little black book, but as I said, I wanted this to be a relatively short and simple recap. What I'm going to do now is roll some characters using a web-based, JavaScript-based, really, character generator that uses the little black book, the book 1 method for doing it. And I'm going to do that on camera, and I'll generate a couple characters, maybe 2 or 3, so that you can see kind of how it works without rolling it and referring to the tables. This will be a little bit easier. Okay, so here's a little HTML character generator that I created, and we're going to roll up a character here. So we'll just do this. All right, so now you can see what you rolled. And we got some bad ones and some good ones. So that's kind of mid, right? That's good, bad, good, good, bad. And you can see how they map directly to your code here, your UPP. You can re-roll if you want to. It gives you that option. Now this, obviously, this is something I made, so it's not official in any way, but you can see the rolls here as well. So you got a 6, a 10, a 4, a 9, an 8, and a 5. All right. We'll move on to the second stage, which is choose a career. Okay. Now you have your options here, and you can see the difficulties of the roll, right? And it'll automatically apply any die modifiers you get for your attributes up here. So you've got Navy would take an 8+, Marines is 9+, Army is relatively easy, 5+, Scouts 7, Merchant 7, and Enlist, other is 3+. So let's shoot for Marines. Let's go for Dangerous, see if we can get in. We rolled a 4, so we get submitted to the draft, right? If you fail your roll, then the game chooses for you, essentially. And the draft roll was a 5, which means you go into Merchants, you cannot be commissioned in your first turn. Now you'll begin our first term. So we're age 18, we begin our first 4-year term. We roll for this term. Now it tells you what you've got. Term one, 18 to 22. Survival, you need a 5+. That's it, survival, right? You don't roll this, you're a dead man, basically. 5+2, because of our intelligence rating, is a 7, so we survive. Skill acquired, medical, and gun combat. Reenlistment roll, need 4+, no DMs, we got a 5. Reenlistment possible, you may continue or muster out. So here's where you decide. Do you want to continue and try to improve your skills, which you probably will. So you click reenlist. Now we're going to roll turn 2. And this time we've got 2 terms, and we made it to an officer. So that's good. So here's term 2, 22 to 26. We got a really good survival roll of 12. Then our commission roll, we got a 9. So we got commission. So we're 4th officer. Now each branch has its own ranks, obviously, right? So this would be your merchant rank, 4th officer. Promotion, so we rolled that. Skill acquired, steward, and ship tactics. Reenlistment roll is a 9, so we may re-enlist again. We're going to push our luck, keep going. Roll term 3. All right. 26 to 30. Okay, we rolled a 5, so we barely made the survival roll. Promotion is 12, good roll. 11 plus 1. We're rank 2, so we moved up to 3rd officer. We've got level 2 medical now and level 1 engineering. We passed our re-enlistment roll, so we can push on. Now we are 30, so let's do one more at least. Now let's roll turn 4. And it looks like we survived, which we did. So our survival roll was a 7, we survived. From promotion, we needed a 10 plus, we rolled a 12. Now we're up to 2nd officer. Pretty nice. We got a vac suit skill at level 1, a navigation skill at level 1. We are age 34, so now we have to roll. Strength roll was, we needed an 8 plus, we got a 6, so we reduced to 5. Endurance, we needed a 6. We needed an 8 plus, we got to 3. So you can see that we paid a cost, but we also got, we moved along pretty good. We made it to 2nd officer, and we're going to push one more. I want to see if we can get to 1st officer here. So let's roll turn 5. So we got it. We got it. Look at that. Survive turn 5 with a 12. 38 now. Promotion. We needed a 10 plus, and we got it. We're 1st officer. And we got electronics and ship tactics 2. Aging check. We failed both of them. So our strength and endurance are even lower. But we've made 1st officer now. And we rolled a 4. Now let's muster out. Okay, so now you roll your benefits. And the longer you go, the better the more benefit rolls you get. We got 7 because of our rank. You can see merchant 5 terms, 1st officer rank, 7 benefit rolls. We can do 3 cash rolls and 7 total. So we'll roll on the cash. We got 10,000. Let's take a 2nd cash roll, another 1,000. And the 3rd one is 31,000. So we got 31,000 credits. Now we'll do our benefits. We got low PSG. We got a +1 to intelligence, and we got a gun. And that is 3. We've got 1 left. Okay, 2 guns. We generate our character sheet, and it gives you a name and your rank. 1st officer, merchant, retired, 38. And our UPP is 4A2A 85. Got our characteristics right there. Here's our service. Age at muster out was 38, and the skills: med 2, gun combat 1, steward 1, ship tactics 2, engineering 1, vac suit 1, navigation 1, electronics 1, and then our benefits. And then you can generate another character. So I thought I would maybe do 2 or 3. Let's do another one. Why not? And the name, I don't know if I remembered to put in various names, so we'll just see what we get. If we get another Nakamura, we can always rename them, right? I also didn't screen cap that or anything. I'm doing this just for fun. If I was going to actually play the game and use this as opposed to just rolling it on the table, this is a faster way of doing it. And I will put a link to this. I'll put it up on my website, and you guys can click on it and roll your own characters. Bad strength roll, 5 dex, 5 endurance, smart and decent intelligence and social ranking, but really average. If you roll 2d6, 7 is your most common result. So anything below a 7 is below average. Anything above a 7 on this scale, depending on what scale you're using, but in this game, where anything below a 7 is below average. Anything above a 7 is above average, right? Makes sense. You can see we rolled a 10 for intelligence. That's how we got that. Now let's choose our career. All right, so let's try for the Marines again, and we got in this time. Welcome to the Marines. All right. Now we're going to roll this term, and we just died. We just died. There you go. Killed in the line of duty. A Marine character was killed during turn 1, age 20. They never made it out. This is Classic Traveler. So you see here, survival failure. This is a quote from the book. Survival failure results in death. An optional rule allows treating failure as injury instead, leaving service after 2 years rather than 4, most tables use this. The threat remains real. And then you can start over. So that is how that works. So you've seen both a survivor and and someone who's died. Now I'll do one more. Actually, we'll start fresh here so that we don't see old data in here. This is not a particularly advanced script here. It's a relatively simple JavaScript looking at tables and generating random numbers. All right, this one's a pretty good one except for these two. So we got kind of a not very well educated lower caste character here, but they've got great physical, not great, but good physical abilities, and they're actually pretty smart, just not educated. All right, for our career this time, let's try to get into the Scouts. And we got in. Welcome to the Scouts. All right. Now we're going to roll our turn. All right. Look, oh, this is a great skill to get, Jack of all trades. Well, it's Jack of all trades, right? So we are able to re-enlist. We rolled a 9 on our survival roll. Now you see you need a 7+, so basically you need to roll average or higher. And we rolled a 9, and we don't have any modifiers on this. So skill acquired pilot, level 1, Jack of trades, level 1. This is a really good skill to have, as I mentioned. All right, re-enlistment is possible. So let's re-enlist. We only need a 3. And turn 2, we rolled a 7. So we survived. Level 2 pilot, level 1 navigation. You can re-enlist again. So this is, as you can see, a little bit simpler. We'll try one more time. So let's see what we get. So we rolled an 11 for survival. We're at now 30. We got computer 1 and gun combat 1. Now, rather than see our physical skills deteriorate, let's muster out. You can see we only got 3 benefit rolls. We didn't get any rank. We're not commissioned. We didn't get commissioned. 3 terms, 3 benefit rolls. So we'll take cash with the first one. 30, that's pretty good. We'll keep it. Well, we're keeping it anyway. Low passage and scout ship. We got the ship. That's good. It's really good. All right, so we got ourselves a scout ship and 30,000 credits. That's not bad for 3 terms in the Scouts without being a commissioned officer. We're 30 years old. So you can see, and Khatri is the name. And there's our UPP, etc., etc. So we didn't take any damage to our more physical type of attributes here, or characteristics. So you get the idea. Like I said, I'm going to put this, a link to it, maybe actually in the description of the video, and I'll put it up on my Hexed Encountered website, and you guys can just click on it in the description and generate characters on the fly. If you want to try it out, have fun, knock yourself out. But other than that, I guess we're done with this one. I will be back with a video on Book 2 and starships, and I may see if I can create a ship generator as well. It's a little bit more complicated, but I might take a crack at it. Depends on how much time I have. So that is it for this one. I do thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, hype, or possibly even subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. This is our role-playing game video of the week. I guess video of the week would be a better way to put it. The next video should be a Twilight 2000 video with session 1 of the campaign. That is the plan. I will obviously let people know if that fails to occur. But we're done here. Quick shout out to my channel members. As always, I thank you guys for your support. If you would like to find out more about becoming a member, you can click the join button, and that does not mean you join automatically. You get a chance to look over the details and see if it's something you wish to do or not do. There's also a little video you can watch, so check that out if you're inclined. If not, no problem. Hopefully you'll at least come back and check out something down the road, or maybe just do one of the other things like share, hype, or subscribe. Any of that would be awesome. Thank you again for watching. Until next time, I am Joe. This is the role-playing side of Hexed Encountered. And until next time, as always, Happy gaming.